Browns continuing preparations for the 49ers on Sunday. And again, quarterback Deshaun Watson was not out on the football field practicing. It continues to trend, Mary Kay, towards P.J. Walker starting in this football game.
Yeah, it looks like that. But then, you talk to offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, and he says it's still up in the air, and it could actually take another day or two or maybe even 3 to figure out what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I did ask him, if he doesn't practice all week, can he still play? He said he's seen that happen plenty of times. But the truth of the matter is, if we are trusting our eyes, what we are seeing is lots and lots of P.J. Walker.
Yeah, Ash, I mean, obviously they'd probably like to have an answer before Sunday, but I'm sure if they can get Deshaun out there, they'll do it however they can. But again, it's just hard to see that right now as we continue to barrel towards this game and we're not seeing him on the practice field.
Yeah, I would be surprised, and we talked about this a little bit on the podcast yesterday, but this would be like over the top for even gamesmanship in the NFL, which can get a little crazy because we are seeing P.J. Walker out there in the early portion of practice working with the ones like we've talked about, like they've mentioned. So I think that's, as our eyes are telling us, that's where things seem to be headed. The caveat to that is because you can never say never, and Alex Van Pelt brought it up today, like Mary Kay said, there's plenty of times in the NFL where veteran guys, especially veteran quarterbacks, and he's seen it himself, go out there and can play on Sunday despite not having practiced in the week leading up to a game.
Now, Mary Kay, I thought Alex Van Pelt was very strong today in sort of backing Deshaun Watson and standing up for him. So he's come under fire from some places as far as questioning his toughness and things like that. I thought Alex Van Pelt was very firm today and just making sure that that wasn't happening.
Yeah, he really was. These quarterbacks, they stick together. So he defended Deshaun to the hilt like he used to do with Baker and, other quarterbacks that he's coached. So he absolutely put to rest any thought that Deshaun would ever keep himself out of a football game if there was any chance whatsoever that he could play. And I believe him on that.
And he didn't offer that much clarity, Ashley, but I do think Alex, at least he told us more than anybody else has really told us about the Deshaun situation.
Yeah, that was a pretty low bar, I guess, that he had to clear at that point. And yeah, like Mary Kay said, Alex Van Pelt was a longtime quarterback in the NFL. I'm not really surprised when we see him kind of go out of his way to defend these guys. He's kind of taken up that quarterback coach mantle this year when Drew Petzing left, and he's had that responsibility in the past. I think he really is protective of those guys and tries to put them in the best possible position that he can.
Now, some more injury news we're keeping an eye on. Joel Bitonio, this was sort of a benchmark, I guess, and monitoring if he's going to be able to play, because Thursday is normally the day that he talks to us. Instead, for the second day in a row, we did not see him in the locker room at all. He did not practice at all. So again, still time, but it gets more concerning by the day here with Bitonio.
Yeah, if you remember, and I know you guys do, that when J.C. Tretter sometimes didn't practice through the week, he would still play the game on Sunday. So there is a chance that Joel could go out there. But the fact that we saw him walk out last week on crutches and we haven't seen him all week here out on the practice field at all, that leads me to believe he is in serious jeopardy of having his 102-game streak snapped on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy working on a, not Joe Thomas-like snap streak, but it's up there. It was climbing the ranks. So it's going to take a lot to keep him out, Ashley. But again, signs just aren't good right now.
Yeah, I mean, that is the one position group it feels like if that would be the most likely to play after not practicing in the week leading up to the game, because you talk to these guys, offensive linemen are hurt all the time, but like Mary Kay said, I mean, it's definitely out of the ordinary for us not to see him at all in the locker room this week, and not to see him even standing on the sidelines out at practice during that portion open to the media. So yeah, it's definitely easy to see why it could be in jeopardy right now.
Opposite ends of the spectrum here. David Njoku did not practice again today. We'll kind of monitor that situation. Jerome Ford, he popped up on the injury report with a knee injury on Wednesday, but Alex Van Pelt didn't hesitate in saying he doesn't think it's a concern. So Mary Kay, we'll see about Njoku, but it sounds like Ford will be out there.
Yeah, I think so. And that's good news for the Browns because they need a running game against these 49ers, especially if P.J. Walker is going to start. And right now, I would say that we think he probably will. So they've got to get Jerome Ford running downhill. They've got to get Kareem going. So the fact that Jerome is not a huge concern is good.
Yeah, Ash, I mean, I know that running game has struggled, but Jerome Ford showed us that big playability. You've got to have something back there.
Yeah, and the Niners have one of the best run defenses in the NFL, and with that big playability, you're going to hit on some of those occasionally. But it's such a tough matchup in that regard, it would really hurt this team to lose the guy who they just had to elevate to their number one running back position.
Okay, still a lot of news to cover here as we approach this game. Who's in, who's out? We'll cover it all at cleveland.com/Browns.